Another Wednesday's come and gone, and I just barely got my comics. Let's talk about them. Hey, welcome to 9 Panel Grid. This week we've seen comic book conventions, flights delayed, and a whole heck of a lot of jet lag. So we're going to do things a little bit different here and fly through these books, but we're going to kick things off this week with Absolute Flash number 4, written by Jeff Lemire with artwork by A.J. Kaplan. I feel like this book finally has a mission statement and they're trying to say something and they're moving the story forward here, both with Wally West and now his new companion Grodd, which is kind of cool. So I like the fact that we're starting to get more heartfelt moments and more narrative, movement with this. However, it takes a step back. Nick Robles is not on the artwork here. The artwork is good. It's just not set to the same standard that I've seen previously. So great that it's got its hooks in me now. I have a reason to pick up the next issue. Kind of took a step back artwork wise, though, which isn't the worst thing in the world. I just wish that we still had Nick on this book. Next up, though, let's go ahead and talk about Aliens vs. Avengers number 4, written by Jonathan Hickman with artwork by Asad Ribic. Who had it on their bingo card that the best Marvel series, limited series here was going to be from the world of Aliens? I didn't, but that's okay. I'm super happy to be surprised by this series. It was a really fun journey. I liked the twists and turns that it took here. It does put a nice bow on this story. However, it does leave things open for this world to be explored a little bit further. I like how there were things that were set up in the previous issues that I totally forgot about that really end up coming through and actually saving the day for a lot of these characters. In that same vein, I also like the villainous aspect of the story. I think it was the most fun part of the story, and the way that that kind of continues and it unfolds as time goes on with the xenomorphs. Really fun stuff here. I was really excited to see this. This is a great limited series here. If you're sleeping on this, don't sleep on it. Check it out. Let's move over to Amazing Spider-Man number 6, written by Joe Kelly with artwork by John Romita Jr. And we'll start with the artwork because I was not necessarily happy to see Pepe Larraz step away from this book. But I have to say this. If it was going to happen, this was going to be the perfect issue to kind of swap those artists out. This is a day in the life of Peter Parker, and there's not a lot of things going on yet. It's kind of setting up some pieces here as we move slightly away from the Hobgoblin story and start figuring out where we're going to go from here. So Tombstone shows up and gives Pete a note, says, hey, give this to your guy. He's going to want to know some information. Pete, kind of stakes out some of the things that are happening in the crime world of New York City here, spends some time with Black Cat, spends some time with his maybe girlfriend, maybe not so much girlfriend, Shay. We get to see a lot of the cool things that we love about Peter Parker, and that's kind of like what the strength of this book is that Joe Kelly has a great voice for that character and has great dialogue not only with Peter, but with everyone that he interacts with. It makes it a nice flow for the conversations, and it feels very much in tune with what you would expect for each one of these characters, but particularly Spider-Man to be doing and saying in all of these different things. So ASM maybe is kind of working for me. I'll take it. Next up, we will talk Exquisite Corpses number 2, written by James Tynion with artwork partially by Michael Walsh. This is a James Tynion number 2 book. If you know me, you know my feelings about James Tynion number 2 books. Yeah. Enough said. We're going to move on to Invincible Universe Battle Beast number 2, written by Robert Kirkman with artwork by Ryan Otley. This was a fun time. This was awesome. It was so much fun. It was violent. It was gory. It was bloody. And even when that blood was red, green, blue, and yellow, it just all worked. It was totally fun. This is all about Battle Beast seeking out someone who can give him a warrior's death. He is looking for that. His computer is looking for that as well for him, not necessarily because he wants to help Battle Beast, but because he hates that dude and he wants to see him dead just as much as Battle Beast wants to find that death. So it's really cool seeing those two things. Also, we have the companion / prisoner of Battle Beast from issue number 1, who really sets him on this journey, takes them back to his home world, and kind of gets him into this gladiatorial event where there's a multitude of different people that he needs to face off with. And it maybe sets the tone for where this story could be going, because it can't just be him seeking out a way to be killed forever and ever. I think that this is starting to spell out where the story can really take us here moving forward. So fun issue. This was like this week's fun book. So if you're looking for fun in your life in a violent kind of way, Battle Beast, that's your one. Surprising book of the week here. Let's talk Iron Man #9, written by Spencer Aukerman with artwork by Julius Ota. Man, this is getting slept on. Nobody is talking about this book, and granted, it didn't start off extraordinarily strong, but it's built every single issue. Now that we're 9 issues in, I can totally see this writer doing things for Iron Man and Tony Stark that have not been done in the past. And that's extraordinarily exciting because this character has a tendency to get stale when there's not big, bold ideas that are taking place. These are big, bold ideas that are taking place here. They're timely, they're worldly, they're giving us a sense of something different for these characters. And I have to say, this is an event tie-in that is built into the One World Under Doom event. And it's an extraordinary issue. And it's a tie-in. And those two things haven't happened in so long that I can't even remember when the last time we had a good tie-in was. This is not only a good tie-in, but it furthers the story in the ongoing series here. It was really great. I'm so pleasantly surprised by this series as it's gotten better with each and every issue here. Now, once the event tie-in, like stops, I want to see them continue that. Time will tell if we're going to get to that point, but Tony's interactions with Doom and the event have been outstanding. They've been some of the best stuff that I've been reading from Marvel. So, if you're sleeping on Iron Man, don't check it out. It's worthwhile, I promise you. Next up, let's talk New Gods #7, written by Ram V with artwork by Evan Cagle. And man, it's a Ram V book, so I kind of know what to expect from it, but I continue to be surprised by the little pieces that get delivered here and, with every single issue. So this is a lot of interaction with the Justice League, as the people of New Genesis have now kind of come down. They've escaped their planet. They know that they're kind of on the run. And now the Justice League has to figure out, do we help them? How do we treat these people? Because they're very truly, without a shadow of a doubt at this point, refugees from their world. So they're trying to work the uneasy navigations of what is right and what is just and what is going to maybe trying to happen here with the powers that be. On top of all of that happening, we also still have the machinations of Metron as well. And man, he is playing chess with everyone from on New Genesis, on Apocalypse, the Justice League, the people of Earth, and the new god, the child himself. It really feels like this new god character is in a cocoon where he is going to be taking part in kind of like the storyline basically of Orion and Mr. Miracle himself. He seems like to be the encapsulation of the idea of nature versus nurture, and they're playing this uneasy game here. Really great stuff here. Check it out. If you're reading it, you already know what you're going to be getting into here. It's big ideas put forth in a way that's easily digestible on the page, which is exactly what Ram V should be known for. Next up, we have Phantom Road #13, written by Jeff Lemire with artwork by Gabriel Hernandez Walta. And this is the big, bold X-Files feeling kind of book that I want in my life. This is taking place still in the past here as we're working with our previous FBI agent who is trying to get a firm understanding of what it is these two worlds, how they interact with one another, what this egg is, and why the company who owns the gas stations and who has built the highway that runs through the ley line where these doors between, for the world between worlds exist. Why do they want these things? What is it that they're working towards, and can they be trusted? This issue kind of explains a little bit of those here, but it continues to give you more questions to be asked, and it continues to spell out the story of what happened in the past to get us to the point where we're working with our people in the present here as they investigate and they try to figure out, is the right thing to do to get this egg from point A to point B, or is there another route to take? Really fun story here. Highly recommend it. Let's talk Wonder Woman #22, written by Tom King with artwork by Caitlin Yarsky. This is a Tom King book that focuses on fun. And I'm not sure if I dig a fun Tom King book. Not a bad book by any means, and I feel like Caitlin Yarsky's artwork totally fits the book's storyline tonally, but it just doesn't necessarily work for me as a reader. This definitely like just kind of reeks of filler issue, and it's not to say it's a bad issue. There's a lot of things that definitely work narratively for the story. It's just that when I think of Tom King, I know the version of Tom King I want, and I know the stories that he's capable of. And this one, we're kind of just pacing along rather than in the sprint towards a big bold idea. So, you know, didn't blow me away, didn't hurt to read it though. I'm just ready for the next big idea to come forward in this story. Next up, we have Zatanna #5, written and drawn by Jamal Campbell. And I have to say, this was a great looking book. Jamal Campbell's visuals are absolutely stunning. He's one of the best artists right now who is working visually on the page for their panel work and their compositions. Really great kind of ideas that Jamal is putting forward here. And you can say the same with the narrative as well, since he's writing this book. However, it is formulaic just a little bit. This is the hero's journey issue where Zatanna is really faced with, kind of seeing the dark version of herself, facing her fears, facing her inabilities, facing her failures, and seeing what the worst version of herself is like. But in that same vein, can she be victorious? Can she see through that? Can she maybe get closer to the maker, if you will? You're going to know exactly what I mean if you've read this issue here. It's very Grant Morrison-y in that way, however, totally fits this book as well. It's been a really fun journey. I can't wait to see how they wrap this up with the next issue. This one definitely did work for me, though. Let's talk our runner-up pick of the week here with the Ultimates #13, written by Dennis Camp with artwork by Juan Frigeri. This was a motivational issue. This was an inspirational issue. This is dealing with the idea of how do you solve the big problems of the world, not the super heroic problems. This isn't the Avengers. There's a reason that this book is called The Ultimates, and this issue spells out what that idea is. It's not about fighting bad guys. It's not about punching and kicking and using your superpowers. This is bigger than that. This is more than that. And that's what I love. There's been a lot of writers who I feel like have attempted that idea in big two books and have fallen on their faces. Dennis Camp seems to have an in with this. He seems to have an idea that is totally working for delivering that idea within a superhero book where punches and kicks need to happen. And that's exciting. He's kind of become one of my premier writers that I look forward to and have built this level of trust where I would just kind of blindly buy it if his name is on there. This is the type of issue that kind of gives me that hope and gives me that feeling. Juan Frigeri's artwork continues to be stunning as well. I feel like he gets better with each and every issue. And there's a lot of panels that, kind of come to mind in this issue that really push that forward. It's not the most inventive looking. There's no playful things happening here, but everything that's done is very sound, and visually it tells the story in a very concise way that fits perfectly within the narrative. So I have to give props where props are due there. But for our top comic of the week here, let's go ahead and talk Batman and Robin, Year 1, Issue 8, written by Mark Waid with artwork by Chris Samney. This is a creative team working at pitch perfect pace and trust with one another. It is stunning. The opening of this issue starts with a lesson being taught to Robin here, the lesson of fear, how to invoke that fear and what it means to put that fear onto an object or on an individual or manifest it through yourself. Bruce has to really teach Dick Grayson the meaning behind this and when not to use it particularly. And I really loved those interactions. Some of the best moments of the series have been Bruce and Dick both learning their roles respectively, both as, parent and son and teacher and mentor or mentee, and and also the crime fighting duo, the hero and his sidekick. There's a lot of those moments that we get to see kind of like the culmination of those learning moments here. They're still happening. They're still learning moments here, especially when Batman seeks out advice from none other than Jim Gordon, parenting advice, if you will, though. And Jim Gordon probably isn't the first person I would think to go to under those circumstances, but he's a good man nonetheless here, so I'm sure he would give good advice. Maybe just not the first person I would think of. But you get to see Dick Grayson take a big step forward here in his detective skills, if you will, as there's a moment in this issue where he needs to really put his mind first and kind of decipher what's happening here and try to get the best of a certain villain that comes to town here and tries to I don't know, really bring the battle forward to Bruce and Dick, not Batman and Robin, which was totally exciting, and I loved the way that he handled that. On top of all of that, though, we get an awesome moment with Alfred, an absolutely awesome moment here where he really gets to shine here. Check out this issue. Once you read it, you're going to know what I'm talking about. Alfred gets the spotlight here, and it was so well deserved. I loved seeing that kind of thing happen. It was fantastic and totally worthwhile of the top comic of the week. So that is what I've got for you this week, but I'm more curious, what did you read and what were your thoughts? Do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe, and be part of the panel. Leave me a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you next week.